a man meant then versus now. All right, let's take a look.
I don't remember maybe when I was a really young child, other than the idea that guys were strong, they didn't whine, they were tough.
They were expected to go to work.
They worked
and provide,
right,
and protect.
Yes.
I mean, and I think back about Dad. I think when I'm thinking about Dad as a role model, I remember the fact that here you have a man who has MS, and he's getting up and he's going to work absolutely every day.
Right.
And he is not complaining. That's another thing. Men didn't complain.
You don't complain.
Then.
You're stoic.
You were. Yeah, I love that word, stoic. Coach Carmody used to use that all the time, stoic. But our dad never complained. He never got up. He had a sense of humor. That was another thing that you learned from guys, is that you needed a sense of humor. Right. But one of the most.
I wanted to keep playing it, but y'all heard him mention the word stoic. Men were stoic. I remember, like, one of my favorite books that I ever read was on stoicism. And it started off with the example in the airport when you're getting mad and you're like lashing out on the airplane attendants, rather than just being cool, not overreacting with emotions, but always seeing things through a calm, logical, clear perspective. Never using and wasting, I should say, emotional energy in these situations, but just simply understanding I can't control what's not in my control, but let me focus on the things that are within my control and make the best of it. You can call it emotional intelligence. These are the things that men, based on what Barack and Craig were saying and Michelle acknowledging, this is what men previously had. So when you compare it to men now, men, we're just as emotional, maybe even more emotional than a lot of women these days. Why? Because we love our boys, but we raise our daughters. Now, I'm not saying that they're focusing on Black households, Black families, but perhaps this is highlighted the most in Black families because you have the highest rate of families that are being led by women in the Black community. Women aren't teaching their sons to be stoic. To be totally honest, a lot of them are teaching their daughters more to be logical. I wouldn't say stoic, but definitely teaching their daughters to be logical and use the emotion and logical, but teaching their daughters that men ain't shit, so therefore you better make sure that you handle stuff on your own. But they're just loving their boys. They're treating their boys like they're men. It's the whole Oedipus complex. It's baby boy. Jody, that's how boys are being raised. You can be real and be stern and direct with your daughter and raise her with the structure, but with the boys, nah. Overly emotional. Overly emotional. That's what's toxic. Stoicism. We need to embrace more of that, in my opinion.
The important things that I remember is that you got along.
What got along
you
in
got
the
along,
world, period.
Period. You got along with the other guys you were with. You got along with your teammates. You got along with your coworkers. Nobody wanted to be considered a jerk.
That is true. Some of the definitions of manhood, I think, were negative, right? You don't whine. You don't cry.
No emotion.
You're not a jerk. I do like the thing you brought up, though, about being a protector.
He said some of the things were negative. Listen to the things that he mentioned.
That is true. Some of the definitions of manhood, I think, were negative, right? You don't whine, you don't cry.
No emotion.
You're not a jerk.
You don't whine, you don't cry. Crying, everybody cries. Like, yeah. The whining, not whining, I don't see how that's a negative. Barack Obama said that's a negative. And it actually just reminded me of a post. I want to show y'all this because the whole you don't whine, you don't cry, you got to be more vulnerable. That's what they used to push with the whole toxic masculinity thing. Let me show y'all something. I believe I have it saved on my Instagram. Hold on one second. Give me a second. Where's this post at? Where's this post? All right, I got it right here. Hold on. Hold up. All right, let me share this tab real quick. Listen to this, and I want y'all to respond based on what Shaq says.
Who takes care of Shaquille O'Neal?
Nobody. Take care of myself. I caught flack one time. I was on this young lady's podcast, and she said, do you express your emotion to your woman? I said, no. Why would I do that? Oh, and they tried to kill me. But I don't. And the reason why, because as a man, you are to protect, provide, and love. And women are emotionally caring. So if I'm telling her I have a bad day, now it's two people with bad days. I don't tell my woman I'm having a bad day. How's your day? Oh, I'm good, baby. I got to take care of it. Because if you put stress on her, she's going to put it right back on you. Because it's our job to protect, provide, and love. But people, you need it. No, I don't do that. I take care of everything, and that's just how it's going to be. And you know why I'm like that? Because it's worked for me. It's worked for me. So I'm not going to meet somebody now and be like, no, I'm not doing that.
Now, a lot of people may have issue with that, take issue with that. Well, if you're not vulnerable with your woman, then how is she going to know when you're having a bad day? How is she going to know? No, you should. I agree 100% of what Shaq just said. And you know what's so funny? When I was watching that video, I'm like, women have all this intuition when it comes to anything else in life. When it comes to knowing if your man, did you look at somebody funny today at work? Because the way that your eyelashes are, I know how your eye twitches when you looked at somebody pretty that wasn't me. And I know, like, literally women will have, like, y'all are gifted when it comes to a woman's intuition. But all that intuition seems to go out the way when you can't have the intuition of understanding that your man may have had a rough day, that your man's a little tired, that work may be kicking your man's ass. Y'all don't seem to incorporate the intuition when it comes to that. And it's because you don't want to. It's too much work for you. So don't give me the BS about, men need to be vulnerable. Be vulnerable for what? That's just something that women say and have said because they don't expect the man to actually do it. Then when a man's actually is vulnerable, y'all looking at that man as soft. Don't do anything to fix that. Don't do anything to make him have a better day. Y'all ain't, man. Stop it. This is stop it. Women, y'all don't care about men. Y'all hate us. Yo, let's keep going with Barack. Oh, my fault. It's not on the screen. Hold up.
And it
No emotion.
Negative, right? You don't whine, you don't cry.
No emotion.
You're not a jerk. I do like the thing you brought up, though, about being a protector, because for some reason that part of it, I think, appealed to me. And it, at its best, it then counterbalanced the idea of being strong, right? Like, you're strong not to pick on people, right? Not to be a bully, not to dominate others. Instead, it's strength in order to protect, right? And for me, a lot of being a man was being self-sufficient, right? the idea of I can handle myself and make my way through the world. And I tell this story, you've heard this story, and sometimes people kind of freak out. Fairly early on, because
hold on. So Vons wrote, Dex, so you're going to keep it inside and have it built up over time? Ain't good for your health. No, Vons, I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to do the things that can bring me at peace to where I'm not completely dependent on another person bringing me peace. Or I'm going to make sure that I do what Barack Obama said earlier on and make sure that I choose the right partner that uses their intuition to bring about those things to where I don't have to say it. Just like if my girl's going through something, I is going through something, and she don't need to tell me. I use my intuition. Yes, she can express certain things to me, but you don't need to all that complaining to women, to each their own. It doesn't eat me up inside. I deal with it. Who's to say that you can't deal with something? I acknowledge it to myself first and foremost. What's bothering me? Damn, how is this bothering me? Why is this bothering me? Why is this impacting me in this way? I need to address this. I need to do better. There's something inside of me that I need to change. What do you think I'm gonna? So when you talk to somebody about it, right? When you go to therapy, right? A lot of people do therapy. We are aware of the fact that therapists don't recommend how to solve things. Like, they don't give you advice. They just say, oh, maybe you should do this. They tell you to go do the work. They recommend different ways so you can solve the problem yourself. Therapists don't say, do this, or this is what's right. No, that's not what therapy is. I don't even think they're legally allowed to do that. They recommend different ways for you to help yourself. So for me, I'm extremely vulnerable, but I'm vulnerable with myself. I'll reach out. If I have an issue, then maybe I'll reach out to one of my bros. Maybe I'll reach out to my dad. Or maybe I figure out a way to confront certain things in me internally, because I think that's a very important thing that we should be raised to do, how to confront your problems. A lot of the problems that we hold are just because we don't address it within ourselves. Queez said it, and Queez just said it. I talked to y'all about it. Don't think that anything, this is my way of, this in a lot of ways, this is therapy. Y'all are smart enough. Y'all know half the stuff that I'm talking about. I'm talking directly to Maya, shooting these shots from it. You know what I'm saying? Because I deal with it personally. And I want to be able to share with y'all. I tell y'all all the time that this show is a lot of my outlet. Speaking on these things, but I'm not going back and saying, if a woman decides that she doesn't want to use her intuition to understand when I'm having a rough day, let's be real. Hold on. First off, what creates a rough day for a man? What creates a rough day for a man? What's a rough day? Because life, the lack of appreciation of what we do have, in my opinion, creates a rough day. Oh man, I didn't make as much money as I wanted to. Bro, figure your shit out. Hey, babe, I'm really struggling to make money and did it. Nah, I'm good. I'll figure it out. Don't trip. I may get a little upset, like, yo, what the fuck? Like, yo, like, you do know money. And I see all this stuff being Amazoned and stuff or something like that. Like, yo, a little. But my job is to not to be totally honest, this may be wrong, but I'll be totally honest. Half the time, I don't even like discussing money and finances with Maya. I don't even like it. If the stock's down, if Tesla's down, I don't discuss it. I just let her know when it's up. I don't even want to have that conversation because honestly, you're not at your best when you're worrying about money, in my opinion. You're not going to be what I need you to be for me if you're stressed out worrying about the stuff that I'm supposed to handle. Now, if I'm handling all that I need to handle and I'm bearing the brunt of all these responsibilities that I need to handle, then you need to make sure that you're using that intuition to understand and to be aware and to read me based on maybe I had a rough day. What's a rough day for me? Like literally, what's a rough day? Like I don't really have, like Vons, what's a bad day for you? If somebody doesn't die in my family or close friends, what could be a bad day? What my breakfast wasn't good, like I had some road rage. I didn't lift enough weight at the gym. Like, what is a bad day? I don't really have these bad days. Like, I be stressed all the time because I'm tired. I'm exhausted from putting in work and from wanting more. So just support me in that. Like, you know the deal. That's going to be the same way to support me. If I'm tired, fill my cup, right? I'm emptying my cup every day. You know what you need to do to fill it. We don't have to keep having that conversation. Now, whether you choose to do so or not, that's on you. And if you don't, then I need to keep it moving and find somebody who will, period. Because if my cup's not being filled, now I'm going to be, let's say I got kids. How do you act when your cup's not full? How do you act when you're tired, when you're stressed out? You act like an asshole. Now you're being an asshole to your kids. Now you're being an asshole to people on the job. Now you're walking around mad. Women know damn well what they need to do to fill up somebody's cup. Bad day when my truck broke down on the border at a fishing tournament. All right, Vons, if that's your bad day, then shout out to you, bro. Because I'm sure you can acknowledge how privileged it is for your bad day to be when your truck broke down, rather than the fact that a lot of people that you're driving by and they're walking or they're at the bus stop, they don't have a car to break down. So if that's a bad day, then, hey, we're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good. Like bad day or bad. I don't have bad days, bro. Yo, honestly, the only time I have a bad day, let me put this air on because I had to close the windows. A bad day for me is when I'm not on the same page with Maya or my family. That's a bad day. Other than that, I can handle it. Bro, if my parents are listening right now, yo, hold on. Yo, if my parents are listening right now, bro, I lost a client a couple months ago. That client was worth more to me, just financially, just based on, the sales and everything like that. He was worth more to me than any of my other clients combined. Y'all know I got having an apartment in Hackensack in Jersey and having an apartment in Miami is not, it can be expensive. There's a lot of financial stress, right? I never let them see me sweat with that shit. Never. I was laughing at it. My parents were more worried about it than me. I remember it was my dad's birthday. We found out. They asking me how much am I getting paid less? I lied to them and told them it was like, oh, it ain't nothing. It's just a couple thousand. Nah, bro, that took away more than half of what I was making. Oh, well, do better. Figure out, go get another client. Stop crying, stop bitching. If I'm in a good place with Maya, if I'm in a good place with my family, that's all that's important. I'll figure out the rest. I will figure out the rest. Now, maybe that's just the benefit of having an amazing support system. Cool, yeah, absolutely. You think I'm gonna be crying and letting my family feel the fact that, oh, he doesn't have more, now he's stressing. I actually believe in energy, bro. So if I put out a certain amount of energy, If I put out some negative energy, you know what's going to happen? Then that's going to have my family stressing. That's going to have them create fear in their eyes. So now when you have a mastermind, what is a mastermind? A group of people working towards one goal, right? And how that compounds because we all focus on the same thing. If everybody's focusing on the negative thing, then that cancer spreads just as much as the positive would spread, and I can't afford that. So now we're going to figure it out. We're going to keep it pushing. We're going to keep it pushing. Stressed out money? Like, yo, you ain't got enough. I'm confident enough I'll make the money, bro. I'll make the money if I haven't learned. Like, come on. Y'all know what I'm saying. We don't need to keep going on this. We don't need to keep going on this, bro. We don't need to keep going on this, bro. I don't have bad days, bro. I don't have bad days. The only time I have a bad day is when I can't get on the same page with my or family. That's it. A bad day. The nerve of who do I think I am to have a bad day, bro? I'm about to fly to Miami tonight and sit by the pool and go to the beach. What, a bad day, bro? Like how arrogant would I have to even be to say that? Yeah, y'all get what I'm saying, bro. I don't have no bad days, bro. Man is the gardener and woman is the garden. His attention and consideration will determine her foliage and fruit she bears when he's hungry. I like that. His attention and consideration. I like that, Eb. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Yo, and I've seen, you want to know otherwise? What's the number one reason why people get divorced? They say financial reasons, right? And everything starts from that. Yo, never. I'm not doing that, bro. I'm not doing that, bro. Like, that's a responsibility that I need to. Yo, if a man can't be financially responsible, then you don't deserve to have a family. You damn near don't even deserve to have a girl. Forget a wife. If you can't be financially responsible, then you don't deserve all that, bro. How, like, isn't that what you're supposed to be bringing to the whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. That's just me. That's just what I embrace. I'm not saying that this is the right way. I'm not saying everybody has to embrace it. That's just how I embrace stuff. And women are lying if they're not keeping it real, saying that you look at your man differently based on money. You don't think money matters? All right. Women treat you differently when you're unemployed than when you got gainful, and then you're gainfully employed. They do. And they should. Now, if you lose your job and you getting back on your feet, I'm not saying that a woman should kick your back in. She should support you 100%. I'm talking about the people out here that lose their job or living check to check, but you play video games 4 hours a day. But you out here just with the boys going out every weekend. Yo, I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was telling me how her dude goes out, her dude go out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm like, yo, what? Like, goes out? Like, what do you mean, like, go out? Like, just to, like, I looked at it like it was an experiment, like a science project, like asking questions, like I was doing research. So he goes out, like, with friends just to drink, just to hang out for no reason, like, not to, like, are they meeting for business? Are they meeting for, no, they just goes out. Wait, what? I couldn't even conceptualize it. Bro. I don't go out, bro. I stay home. I'm in the crib. I'm in the office. I'm working. And then if Maya comes down when Maya's in Miami, then we go out. I'm not just going. What's out, bro? I know. No. Let's get back to the video. My fault.
I do freak out over this.
Because I was living in Indonesia. I'd fly from Hawaii to Indonesia on my own if I was visiting my grandparents, even at the age of 8. Yeah, and it was cool because
let's move
stewardess
on.
was
We're gonna
there.
move on to-
She would grab
so
you.
This is where the convo where it gets, to me, it gets real. All right, so I think we're at the 54-minute mark. All right, here we go.
I do want to talk to Emma as a mother, because she's a mother trying to figure this out. And I do think there's a question, like the original question of why do we love our sons and raise our daughters? And I think that's something worth sort of talking through among mothers, because sadly, many mothers are parenting alone, which is a huge problem. I think Scott Galloway, there are other researchers out there who say that one of the challenges that boys face is that there just aren't enough men in their lives. You know, the men have disappeared, whether through divorce or fatherhood. There are small numbers of male teachers in high schools. Boys are growing up in an education system where they're mostly surrounded by women.
Right.
Barack, you've talked about the fact that the entire education system isn't even designed to recognize boys and what they need.
Hold up. What did Barack say? Hold on. What did Barack say?
By women.
Right.
Barack, you've talked about the fact that the entire education system isn't even designed to recognize boys and what they need.
Hold up. You mean the same education system that Trump was calling out all the issues that Trump wanted to get rid of the Board of Ed, that all black people were coming out there and saying, no, we need the Board of Ed. All the liberals and Democrats running out. You talking about that education system? Well, he shouldn't destroy it. He should try to fix it. Oh, you mean the one that they've been trying to fix since they started it, since the states lost power and it went under national leadership and became this Board of Ed? You mean the one that they've been trying to fix? We're in Montclair, New Jersey. Let's just take Montclair, for instance. Great education school system, right? For everybody but the black kids. Because they've had this wealth gap, this education gap for the longest. My godmother's husband was responsible for fixing the education gap maybe 30 years ago as assistant superintendent or whatever role he was in. It hasn't changed, but nobody actually looks at we don't look at the numbers. You talking about that education system to where the people that it fails the most are the ones who are fighting for it the most? Oh. Look at Vance. Stop coming at Obama. He did his best. I actually just agreed with Obama and have agreed with him on the majority of what he's saying. You see how emotional we've become? This is kind of wild that Vance would even write that. And y'all know it, but y'all ain't going to write it. Y'all sitting back like, what is he talking about? Stop coming at Obama. I'm not coming at Obama. I'm coming at y'all. I'm coming at you. Like, you over here defending Obama. I'm coming at you. I'm coming at us for getting bamboozled into all of this stuff. Barack is telling the truth. The education system is not built to help empower and raise young men. Vons is crazy.
So, what do we say to Emma? Because again, we don't know whether she's parenting alone or whether she has a husband. But I do think that mothers struggle to figure out what do their sons need. And so they wind up operating out of their own fears and their own instincts, which is to love unconditionally. I think mom was like this. She raised me to be tough because I think she knew what it was like to be a woman. In her mind, she knew what she was preparing me for. The insults, the limitations, the whatever you can think of, the sexism, the biases. So she knew you have to have a mouth. You have to be.
Yo, all joking aside, maybe I need to do some more due diligence, because maybe I need to talk to my mom, talk to Maya, talk to some of the women in my life a little bit more and understand how hard it is for them out here. Or maybe that's just a testament to some of the men that I'm around. When I look at my homeboys that are married and I look at their wives and I'm like, I don't think that I wouldn't say that they have such a hard life. Now, everybody has challenges, but this whole narrative that it's just so hard for women out here, like, we acknowledge, like, maybe I just got to do better, because that's not represented. And like I got on Eb the other day saying, well, she said the certain things in her family ain't like that, or the black people that she knows ain't like that. So maybe I just need to broaden my scope, because I see a lot of the reasons why life would be hard for women out here. First and foremost, if you're raising a kid by yourself. Yeah, because I think it would be hard for anybody to raise a kid by herself, especially a woman in a lot of ways, because it's a woman now has to embrace doing what we perceived as masculine when it comes to providing provision, right? Providing money, all these things. So I can explain now, there's going to be challenges to a man raising a kid as well, but I don't want to get lost on that point. But a lot of the things that make women's lives hard seem to be a lot of like choices. Like, you choose, you're not forced to have sex and have a baby with certain people, right? Like, that's who you choose. So by not being more responsible and not being more deliberate and intentional in who you're deciding to have a baby with, well, shit, damn, you just set yourself up. That's the hardest thing I would think that would be in your life. I think that would be the hardest thing. So what did we say about being stoic? Controlling the things that are within our control. So if we focus on the things that are within our control, maybe that'll take some of those burdens off of women to where your life is not as hard. Now, when it comes to discrimination, oppression, yeah, I understand. There's always going to be certain biases that they mentioned, that men are perceived as stronger, maybe more intelligent in certain areas, but I don't even know if that's a thing. But you can't complain about those things, but then also skip the line at the club and not pay for any drinks while you go out at night. Meanwhile, like Unc said earlier, dude, we got $1,000 tab. We're expected to pay for dinner, right? Y'all say we some broke niggas if we don't pick up the bills, right? So it's like almost, and I was supposed to play this video where Jason Whitlock is talking to this guy about some of the harmful effects of what Martin Luther King was pushing. And he highlighted the fact that it made Black people this protected class, this victimhood. So yeah, if we keep saying that, oh, a woman's life is hard or a man's life is hard and stuff like that, yeah, people will embrace that stuff, because people are always looking to find excuses and rationalizations why their life is not what they want it to be. But maybe I just need to do a better job of communicating and listening to women, because the women that I run into, they don't really share that with me, that their lives are that hard. Let's keep going.
Be able to speak up for yourself. With you, she wanted you to be nice so that you wouldn't get in trouble or you wouldn't get arrested. But was that who you were? So what do we say to the Emmas of the world? How do we sort of start thinking as a society about helping mothers raise sons, because they're doing it alone?
And hold on, I got to highlight what Eb said. My fault that I just stopped it. But Eb said a strong support system in the form of family is a privilege. Epigenetics is real, and it takes a conscious person to recognize and do something about familial habits. I don't know if this is as a man or just my perspective on things, but things that are within my control, I never tend to see as a privilege. Like, I almost see privilege as the things where I was just born into. I mean, how can I say it? And I understand that that's not, I may be wrong in saying that, but I'm just saying how I tend to see things. Like a lot of the things that we perceive as privileges are things that are within all of our control. Like having a strong support system in a family, like that's things that are within your control. That's maybe my parents, when they're going through trouble, deciding to stay together because they want to raise their family a certain type of way, where my dad wants to be a role model to his kids in a certain type of way and not have to sit here and say, well, don't do what I did. I cheated on mom and therefore, so you shouldn't do it. No. Let me look at your actions. So that way I don't have an excuse to say like, well, shit, I don't know if I could do this. If it's already been done, then I don't have an excuse. So all of these are just decisions, like having a strong support system. These are just decisions that people make to compromise this. Like, like, what type of privilege are people really looking for? Like a strong support system, like that I guess I can understand how, based on what society is and based on what the norm is, that we've set a curve where it's like, well, based on today, having a father is a privilege. Like, damn, like think about that. That's how far gone we are in society, where having a father in the household is a privilege. Like, what? Damn, wait, what? That's just a decision, right? Let's keep going. The main takeaway that I want to have is we can create our own privileges simply by the decisions that we make. It would almost be like somebody telling me, I'm going to make it about me real quick. It would be almost like somebody telling me, and this is what I always get annoyed with, like when they say that, and I've talked about this before to y'all, where it's like when they talk about, like, let's say my physique, and they'll say like, oh, well, yours genetics, like you're what? Or if somebody told me, yo, that was a privilege, you made it to the NFL. I mean, yeah, but like, I would almost be a little bit like, if somebody who didn't, it would be different if somebody told me that and I knew that they put in the same amount of work or had the same commitment to that goal than me. I would look at it a little bit differently. But it's almost like you're telling me this, like, oh, it's a privilege. Like, nah. Or somebody told you it's a privilege. Like, you're just privileged to make a certain amount of money. For y'all that may make money or whatever. If somebody that makes less money in your family told you, like, oh, yeah, you're privileged because you have a good job, so you can't. Well, you could have got a good job. You could have worked. Let me just keep going. Y'all understand what I'm saying.
And we're being told that we don't have what it takes to give boys all of what they need.
Well, look.
We don't have raise sons because they're doing it alone. And we're being told that we don't have what it takes to give boys all of what they need.
You don't. Period. Hard stop. Women do not have what it takes to give a boy everything they need.